make some money today, come on. I like this because the fuel that I'm replenishing, yesterday we made some pretty good money. And today we're going to find out just how much my little skid steer burns in fuel working steep ground and running a brush cutter. So it's going to have all the strain on the engine and the pump that it could possibly have. I'm pretty excited to figure it out. Diesel fuel is $3.499 per gallon. So $3.50 a gallon, pretty much for off-road. This is going to give some of you folks out there that haven't done this another tip to see how much it costs to operate this stuff. When it comes to bush hogging, if it can keep traction, a tractor, for the most part, you can bush hog faster with less fuel than a skid steer and certainly an excavator. I'm only about 100 hours away from the first 500 hour service. This is not a new filter. I blew it out a couple of weeks ago though. I'm gonna blow it out again. That way we've got a fair baseline. I don't want it to be real dirty. I want it to be almost new. That way we get kind of an accurate figure on gallons per hour consumption. I'm also going to blow out the air conditioning cab filters while I'm at it. I don't do anything with this inner filter. Leave it alone. I've explained in previous videos that I set this fan up to blow the dust away from me. That way I don't breathe it. Let's see if there's any dust in this thing. Well, that wind's taking it a different way, isn't it? Well, I guess we better work with Mother Nature then. It would get windy right when I start to do this, wouldn't it? That's a lot of money out the window if you don't keep these clean. See all these little fibers? That's stuff from bush hogging. It's little fibers off of plants. And they're actually making it to where they're clogged in there so bad that even air can't come out. So now I've got to blow the outside at a downward angle. Here's the difference when the fan is not running. See how that dust just lingers? That's terrible for your lungs. That's why I use a fan. Some people may think I'm a bit of a pansy. Your lens is dirty. But I do demolition work too, and these air filters could have asbestos in them. Even though I don't do demolitions that I see any asbestos or have been inspected and don't have asbestos, that does not mean that it's not hidden somehow. Protect yourself. Be a weenie. And back in you go. If anybody's curious, I did this yesterday, but there may be a person or two who's new to the show today. I'll blow that. Look at that dirt. Look at that. And the machine is not running that way. When I take this off, it doesn't suck air in. But there's the blower for the AC. The wind's blowing right now. Hopefully it'll keep blowing. Let's see how dirty this one is. That's good enough. Let's see how this inner return filter looks. Airflow that way, so I need to, yep. That's pretty dirty. Not as bad though. Still would have added strain to the system. Next step, we're going to fill up the fuel tank. If you run a long hose, here's something you'll run into. This is an auto cutoff nozzle, and if it's doing this, it's not just that the tank might be out. It's one of three things. Either your tank is full, I just started fueling, so there's no way it's full. Second thing, your tank is running empty. We just filled it up. We know that's not the case. There's one other thing this could be other than a faulty nozzle. Go to your hose, right there. That kink is causing it to lose flow, and it thinks from here out it's running out of fuel. So it thinks that something's going on, and it'll automatically cut off. So don't go and buy yourself a brand new nozzle without checking that hose. If it's kinked, it's going to cut off. We just clicked off automatically. Take your nozzle out. I usually just lay it on the tailgate. Before you forget, reset this guy, because it'll need to be zeroed the next time you fuel to figure up your gallon usage. Let's get this thing, get the engine warming up and the cab cooling off. We're going to check our hours. So we got 417.2 hours. I'll log that on my phone. We'll run our hours out today. We'll fill up at the end, and we're going to find out just how much fuel this Cat 289 D3 burns. Well, my backup camera's not working. The system's actually not even recognizing it. Yesterday I was able to turn the machine off, kill the main power switch, main battery switch, counted to 10, flipped it back on, and it came on. So I'm going to call my mechanic here in a little bit and see what they think it is, if it's just a camera issue or what. I checked the fuse, it's fine. Who knows, stuff happens. It is extremely wet today. I wear my seatbelt on these steep hills anyway, but I'm definitely going to today. And what I'm going to do is mow side to side, because if I get pointed down toward those trees and I get to the bottom and try to back up and spin out, we're done. We're stuck. This machine definitely does pretty well mowing side to side, even when it's wet. It's making turns it has trouble with. So here we go. Let's go into snail mode. We're gonna run about 16 sideways here. The faster we go, the worse it's gonna want to walk down the hill. I'm shooting for lining up with the rough just to the left of that little white sticker. Oh yeah, we're getting plenty of grip. I'll do a little bit of videoing and mowing today. I think I did plenty of it yesterday. Some people find it relaxing. Seems like the outside view, there's a lot of rattling noises. I think it's from that cover over the hydraulic motor causing that. Now see here, I can speed up a little bit. The thicker that grass is, the more I gotta slow down. That head won't bog down. I've really not had any issues with losing blade speed, but I definitely lose cut quality. I've actually had 2 comments similar to this one. And TR Cattle, I'll put it up on the screen if I can, says, I don't see how you get by without a diesel truck and trailer to move your stuff instead of the dump truck. I used to have a, back when it was still Dodge, 3500 loved that truck. It was a great truck. It was good pulling. I had a light programmer on it. I think I only gave it like a 40 horsepower boost. Made all the difference in the world. After I got rid of that, I got into dump trucks, and I've had several single axles. What I was finding with, especially like the pickup truck, it lacked torque, it lacked braking. I went through, I think, 3 or 4 different rear ends in that Dodge pickup truck. And this is going to start the whole argument in the comments. Well, Dodge is a piece of junk, and Ford, and then there's going to be arguments with Ford and Chevrolet. I think really when it comes down to it, pickup trucks in general are good highway pullers, but when you're like here in the mountains of North Carolina, it is just so hard on machinery, even small skid steers like this. It's so hard on pickup trucks, they just can't hold up. If the fuel mileage goes to nothing, everybody's gonna be like, well, I've got the new F350, I can pull 80,000 pounds. Come on up here and do it every single day. And it's going to eat you up in fuel. You're going to be changing your brakes constantly. So the short answer is that I put less maintenance on that big tri-axle dump truck than I was on the single axle or certainly the Ram. And even pulling my 22,000 pound excavator, most of the time I don't even have the brakes. My trailer's electric brakes. I don't even turn those brakes up. I've got them down as low as they'll go. The only time I turn them on is if it's wet conditions and that little bit of weight wants to push the rear end of the truck around, or I'm going down a long grade. The rest of the time I've got the brakes turned off. Because that truck, I mean, you think about it, you can put 36,000 pounds of weight in the bed of it easily, and the truck has all the braking it needs. And then the other side of it is most of the time I'm carrying multiple implements, and my trailer is perfect for this area because it's short enough for me to get around, and I don't want a longer trailer to be able to put multiple pieces of equipment and attachments, this, that, and the other. And I'll try to start pointing out in future videos situations where I'm glad that I have certain trucks for certain things. I actually burn less fuel in the Mac than I did in smaller trucks because it's got just so much torque. It's not a lot of horsepower. It's only 350 horsepower. If it was a 450 or 500 horsepower, it'd probably do even better. It's kind of the premise. If you're doing a lot of long, hard grades, a lot of the time, if you got a 500 horsepower dump truck, you're going to get better mileage in general than you would with like my 350 horsepower. It's just how it is. I would rather be overpowered than be tearing stuff up and burning excessive fuel all the time. Hopefully that answers y'all's questions regarding why I don't have a diesel pickup truck. Plus, I don't have to deal with diesel exhaust fluid anymore. I had the 750. It gave me trouble a couple of times. And for my area, again, a 6-speed torque shift just was not cutting it. The engine would have been great, I think, if they had put like an 8LL transmission in it. That would have been a great little truck. But from what I've found, and people are always asking me, what would be the first truck and trailer you would buy and first machine? And that's a generalized question, and it differs for everybody. But it would be at least a tandem dump truck, and a 10-ton trailer at least, then definitely an excavator for me. But now it could be a skid steer for you. Now I'm struggling just a little bit here with turning around. So what I'm going to do is make a little bit, up here's a flatter area for me to turn. So I'm going to mow this lower from here down sideways, and that way I'll tear the ground up less. Back to the subject. I do so many one-on-one consultations. If y'all are interested in that, I'll drop my email down below. It equates to right now. I'll put it down in the description. That way I can update it as time goes along. I'm not even gonna say right now what I charge, but it's by the minute. And if you just need to talk to me for 5 minutes or 2 minutes, we'll set up a call, and what you need is all you pay for. It's not one of those things you have to pay for an hour or a half hour if you don't need it. I think that's a fair way of doing things. And you get about 15 years, 20 years of trial and error experience that I've done. I might be over here in the wet too much. We'll go. Just might slide around, I guess. There we go. So that's food for thought for you guys. See how much better I can do side to side? And it's so wet, this thing can't get traction to turn, hardly. Well, now this is neat. A little road, wonder where this goes. Must be just one of the old logging roads. I like taking these little trails through the woods. I will not scratch my machine up. No, no, no. That looks like the end's down here. Yeah, it gets real narrow right there. Oh, I forgot my backup camera's not working. That sucks. Come on, cat, you gotta do better than this. Tell you what, I'm just gonna go ahead and call Eddie. He called me yesterday to set up my maintenance plan, and maybe he can hook me up on getting somebody out here to work on this camera. I don't know if I've mentioned it, but I like to idle the machine down kind of slow to let that head slow down, because this doesn't have the one-way flow. There's no way to open the valve to let it free spool, so it's easier on the pump. Unless somebody out there knows if this has a bypass valve that works really well. Okay, look at that. 420 hours. Is it time for service? Nope. It is time for some grease though. I've been making really good time. I've been running snail mode on 16, speed 16. It's making a really good quality cut. And what's better, my backup camera started working, which is great because I just bottomed out on something. I like having my backup camera, so as I really need my backup camera working, because as I'm traveling forward, I can glance up there and see what quality of cut I'm getting. Well, let's run down here to the truck. We're gonna get some grease, and then we'll come back and see what we can do with this. See if we can run some mesas out. on this last little run. When you start getting corners like this, you usually start running them out. Ah, there he goes. That's a big old sucker. Look at him. All right, I ain't gonna pick on him. Let's go grease. Got the machine greased up. Now I'm gonna run, grab a coffee because one of my favorite shops is only 3 minutes away. Then we'll be back. Here we are, friends, down to the last 2 passes of this part of the field. My bet is that strip is loaded with wildlife. I would say almost entirely rats, because that's all I've seen, but I'd really like to see a snake or two, especially rattlesnake. I'd really like to see one. Trying to keep it in the frame, and then I hit a piece of wood, and I think the piece of wood might have killed it. I hope he's just playing possum. Oh yeah, good. Oh, you hung? Oh, you're hung on a briar. You are hung on a briar. Oh, there he goes. Oh, thank God. I was afraid I was responsible for his death. Just got hung up on a briar. That's a happy ending. I was about to feel like a real special kind of jerk. We'll go way over this way. The reason I was chasing down that way is the third to the last pass, right before I made the video saying we were going to see how many rats we were going to see. I was all like 5. And then that segment I just did, I only saw 1 run out. Frankly, a little disappointed. I just love the smell of a fire. Makes me wish that I was the one doing the clearing. I'm sure by now everybody's kind of confused what's what. My pickup truck is parked way over there. We've gotten everything from the truck over to this hillside done. The most difficult stuff was yesterday's video where we were up on top of that hill above the shooting range. Now, the next thing I want to tackle is this corner down here. It tends to stay more wet. It's also steeper than that stuff over there. I want to reserve that area for when I've got Emma tomorrow. I'm just going to mow just a little bit longer to get rid of this wet area. I don't really want him in the machine with me. We both can't buckle up, so I'll take care of the dangerous part, and then we'll check in at the end of the day, see how much fuel we burn. 121.5. 9.7 gallons. I worked 5 hours today. We burned 9.7 gallons. So 9.7 divided by 5. 1.94 gallons per hour. That's not bad, considering how much fuel was. Now it's all the other expenses that add up that start really eating away into the profit. We'll be covering that in future videos. Thanks for watching. We'll see you there.